Hey YouTube, today I'm going to do a comparison on two pistols that look almost identical when you look at them at first glance. But what I'm going to do is show you some different features on these guns and what are the differences in them. So first thing I'm going to do is tell you what we have here in front of us. The one on top here is going to be a 1985 Colt Python, one of the original vintage ones. And it is, the finish on it is the bright stainless. So basically it's the mirror polished stainless. It's not nickel, it's a mirror polished stainless. The one on the bottom here is a little bit of a story. It started its life off as a Colt Trooper from the 1960s, and somebody had done a bad refinish job to it and hard chromed it or nickeled it or something. It was all coming off and the gun looked like it was at the end of its life. And I acquired it thinking it was a 357 Magnum. When I showed up, it was to get it. It was a 38 special. I'm a man of my word. I said I'd buy it, and I did. I don't have hardly anything in it, so I said I'll figure out something to do with it. I love Colt revolvers. So what we'll do here first is we're going to pick these up and show you that there's nothing in them, and I'm going to show you what the differences in these two are. I have done a video before with these two exact guns, but you would not recognize the one here on the bottom now. So we'll start off with the first one. This is a Colt Python. This one's chambered in 357 Magnum. This was one from the 1980s. This is the original vintage Colt Python that everybody loves. And what the Colt Python was known for was the smooth action on these and the exceptional trigger pull on them. It was all hand fitted, all finished off by the best gunsmiths in the world. As you can see, all the lines look good, and just a very attractive revolver with the full underlug and the vented rib and the beautiful walnut grips. So we'll compare that to this one. This one was a Colt Trooper from the 1960s, and this one just had a regular looking little pencil barrel on it. And if everybody remembers that watches my channel, I restored a Colt Python a few months ago for a young lady that I know, and I rebarreled it because these roll marks required so much finish work to go into them. They got a little thin here. So I took that barrel and had it fitted on to this Colt Trooper, and what we did is we took the cylinder and we ran a special ream through it, and we chambered it now in 357 Magnum. So now this is a 357 Magnum gun. As you can see, you can still see the Colt roll marks on them. They're just a little thin from the 60s, and when you start doing any polish work on them, they get really thin, but it's still on there, it's still visible, it still looks pretty cool. So then what we did, it had a really small little cheesy looking hammer on him, and we found a large spur hammer that was hand knurled kind of like a Colt Python and fitted it into it. So now it's a 357 Magnum with adjustable sights on him, a Python barrel, Python sight, and a Python-like hammer on it. And now it wears the Colt royal blue finish on him. And if you see the before and after videos of this gun, you wouldn't even believe it's the same gun. Any imperfections on this thing are just fingerprints on it, but this finish is absolutely amazing. It's the actual Colt royal blue finish that they put on the Colt Pythons, and my gunsmith is a master at his craft. And then I put a set of synthetic ivory grips that I had on another Colt revolver that I have, and we found out that the grips are exactly the same as a Colt Python, so that's what it has on it now. Now these 1960s Colt Troopers had very similar internal lock work as a Colt Python. It has the V mainspring in it, and all it did was lack all the hand fitting and hand polish work on the internals. So when he put this gun together, he hand fitted everything, did all the internal polish work on it, and now this thing works just as good as a Colt Python. It is unbelievable, folks. Trigger pull is just as good, the double action is just as good. Now the difference is this hammer here is fitted with a firing pin mounted to the hammer, and I'm going to leave that open here. And the Colt Python has a frame mounted firing pin and always has had. So if you look at them side by side, this one has a hammer mounted firing pin and this one has a frame mounted firing pin. So that's one of the differences if you were to just glance at them and see what the difference was. One of the other differences is if you look at the amount of material between the cylinder and where the hammer meets on the frame, it's a little bit thinner than the Colt Python. See how much thicker the Colt Python is. Now they're both I-frame guns, but it's just beefed up a little bit more because this one was a 357 Magnum. This gun, when it came out, was originally intended to be a 38 Special also, but they decided at the last minute they were going to make them 357 Magnum, and they actually did make a target model there for a while that was only chambered in 38 Special, but 99.9% of them were 357 Magnums, and this frame is just a little bit more beefy here than this one. If you look at them side by side, see how there's a little bit less material behind that cylinder, between the cylinder and the frame, than there is the Colt Python. The other difference is this Colt Python was meant to have the Colt Python barrel on it. So the frame actually matches all the way across. And if you look at the Trooper that I had the Colt Python barrel fitted to, it does not. It comes down and it was meant to have that little pencil barrel on it. But that's not an issue to me. This thing turned out awesome. So if you look at them side by side with that big hammer on it and this new finish work and the Python grips and the Python barrel, they're very similar. But there are a few differences in them, and I would say right now this gun is every bit as smooth as a Colt Python. Now, a lot of people have asked me that saw this gun, is it safe to shoot 357 Magnums out of this? Because it was only intended and factory built for 38 Specials. Well, yes, folks, it is. I have a very qualified gunsmith that would have never done something that you cannot do. This is not a problem at all. It is no different than taking a K-frame Smith & Wesson and shooting 357 Magnums through it. You can do it. Now, should you do it all day, every day, and just consistently? No, you probably should not. It may be alright, but the frame's not quite as strong just because of this little bit of material right here as the actual 357 Magnum. So, is it safe to do it? Yes, it is. Am I going to shoot this enough to break it? No, I am not. But I am going to shoot it, folks, and I haven't got a chance to shoot it yet, but I am excited to see it shot. But anyway, folks, I want to show you a side-by-side, and had you glance at them at first glance, you would think, well, there's a royal blue Colt Python and a stainless Colt Python, but that is not the case. This one has actually started its life as a 38 Special 1960s Colt Trooper, and this one has always been a 1985 manufactured bright stainless Colt Python. If you have any questions, or if you notice any other differences that I did not cover in this, feel free to reach out with me. I'm not a Colt Python or Colt Trooper expert, but I do know a lot about them. Have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much for watching my video today, folks, and you folks have a great day.